This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Spoiler number one is Dr. Lee frowns.
It stinks.
What is going on? What is going on?
Episode 71, Submission 637. Herb Abrams, Universal Wrestling Federation. Herb Abrams Universal Wrestling Federation aired on Sports Channel America from 1990 to 1991 and also aired on Prime Ticket, estimated from around 1991 to 1992, and aired in reruns on ESPN2 in the mid-1990s and on ESPN Classic from 2008 to sometime in the mid-2010s.
Once again, everybody, I'm Craig DeGeorge, along with wrestling's living legend, Bruno Sammartino. Welcome once again to the Universal Wrestling Federation Fury Hour.
Well, guys, we teased this episode when we did the live show on the Dark Side of the Ring back in early May. But, man, it is time to discuss the legend that is Herb Abrams and the Universal Wrestling Federation.
Really?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I told you guys the story of Herb Abrams when I submitted it.
Yes, you did. It was a laugh riot.
Yes, and we thought, ha, 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 that's hilarious. And then, lo and behold, we see on Vice, they're doing a Dark Side of the Ring about Herb Abrams. And we were like, oh my God, we need to see the reenactment of the baby oil and cocaine story.
And again, it was a laugh riot.
It was a laugh riot. The entire show was a laugh riot. But let me tell you something, guys. That was that 1 hour on Viceland on Herb Abrams. That was probably the tip of the iceberg when it came to Herb Abrams. There was so much crazy stuff about Herb Abrams' life that they could not even get to, that I have in notes for this episode. Now, I got to note, these notes come courtesy of the Between the Sheets podcast, the excellent wrestling podcast done by my good friend Chris Zellner and his partner David Bixenspan. So this comes straight from them. I took copious amounts of notes while listening to the episode they did about the UWF. So, okay. So let's get into the background about Herb Abrams. Now, Herb Abrams, he was a businessman. He was a wrestling fan. He was best known back in the day in the mid-late 80s in the LA area for a chain of plus-size clothing stores for women. Do you know what they were called, guys?
I couldn't even imagine.
What were they called?
It was called I'm a Big Girl Now.
Is that the same as the future installment starring Diana Canova?
Sure.
Sure.
But yeah, Herb Abrams, a big wrestling fan. So like any wrestling fan who has mysterious amounts of money, what do? Oh, I could do it better than than Vince McMahon. So I'll start my own wrestling promotion.
That's not a good idea.
No, it's not a good idea.
That's a very bold strategy, Cotton.
Let's see if it works out for him.
No, yeah. So back in August of 1990 at the John Arezzi Wrestling Fans Fantasy Weekend, the formation of the Universal Wrestling Federation was formed. Oh, by the way, guys, I know you might be saying, Greg, wasn't there a Universal Wrestling Federation in like the mid-1980s? Yes, but that was the Bill Watts version, and yeah, that's not a future entry. I'm just saying. But the funny part is, now you're wondering, well, if there was another promotion called the UWF, the Universal Wrestling Federation, why didn't the other guy like sue him over it? But here's the thing, guys. Bill Watts, he never trademarked the Universal Wrestling Federation.
Uh-oh.
That's important.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like business 101. Not good.
Yeah, well, this was like 1986, and if you know anything about Bill Watts, his mind was probably on other things at that point. So yeah, the Herb Abrams UWF. So they had a press conference. They ran this ridiculous angle where like Brian Blair, that jabroni Brian Blair, according to the Iron Sheik, was attacked by Dan Spivey, and Herb Abrams reportedly did a third-rate Gene Okerlund mock shack over the whole thing. Abrams also announced that the promotion would start on Sports Channel America as part of a 3-hour block with kickboxing and boxing called Feet, Fists, and Fury. Hence why the UWF show on Sports Channel America was called the Fury Hour. So that's a great combination, guys, right? Wrestling, kickboxing, and boxing.
It works on some levels, kind of, sort of. They're related-ish.
They're in
That's
the
a
ring.
thinker. That's a thinker.
Yeah, whoever at Sports Channel America thought about that. Brilliant on you folks. At the press conference, Abrams claimed he signed Dr. Death Steve Williams and Terry Gordy to, quote-unquote, 3-year contracts at the press conference. Okay. Sure, Herb. He also claimed that Blackjack Mulligan would be the booker for the company. But here's the problem, guys. See, Blackjack Mulligan at the time was in jail because he was counterfeiting money.
Oops.
Yeah, that would be a bit of a problem.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe like Herb would go to prison and go on the phone, be like on the phone while he was had some cocaine binge, and tell Blackjack, do you have any good booking ideas this week or something? I don't know.
Oh boy.
He also claimed that names like Sid Vicious and Akeem the African Dream would be joining the promotion also. Nope. And here's the best part, guys.
Oh no.
Get
There's
ready.
more.
Wait,
ready.
that wasn't the best part?
No, this is better. Herb claimed that Bruiser Brody would be one of his top stars in the UWF. But here's the thing, guys. Bruiser Brody had been dead for 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And
Are
when
we doing the Zombie Wrestling Federation now?
no, that's not until we do ECW on Sci-Fi. We talk about the zombie. When someone informed Herb that Bruiser Brody was dead, Herb said, "Oh, he's just injured." Yup, he said that.
'Tis just a flesh wound.
Just oh my god. But here's the thing. The promotion, to get some credibility, hired as their color commentator probably one of the biggest names as far as credibility goes, the legendary Bruno Sammartino.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Instant cred.
Yes, Bruno Sammartino, of course, former WWF champion. He had been the world champion there for 12 out of 14 years between 63 and 77 when he lost the belt the second time to superstar Billy Graham. And he had been out of the WWF, I think, for about 2 years at that point. So his name carried a lot of star power to give it some instant credibility with fans. So you got the promotion started. Okay. So Herb Abrams was supposed to have his first TV taping in Anaheim on September 13th, 1990. But are you ready for this? Here's a funny story, guys. The building that there was going to be used for the taping the day before the show, the city of Anaheim sent a letter to Herb that he did not have a permit for the taping in the building, since the building was supposed to be used for quote-unquote entertainment purposes and not sports. The show never took place. It was speculated by Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter there was either a problem with taping the show or that the owner of the building didn't want a wrestling show in the building. And Herb, guess what Herb blamed the reason on the show not being taped?
What?
He blamed it on Vince McMahon. Yeah, sure. Herb would also make outrageous claims that certain wrestlers were on their way to the UWF. According to the Pro Wrestling Torch in October of 1990, the UWF claimed to have contract negotiations with Stan Hansen, the British Bulldogs, the Midnight Express, the Freebirds, Owen Hart, and SD Special Delivery Jones, among others. Spoilers, guys, none of them signed with the UWF.
I'm shocked. This is my shocked face.
Yes.
Chico took my line.
You know, it is a shame they didn't sign Owen Hart, because I would have loved to have seen a UWF show booked by Bruce Hart. See if he had any genius stuff like the West Edmonton Mauler.
I believe they had the Saskatchewan snowshoe. I don't know.
I think that might be an episode for another day.
So the UWF finally debuted on September 24th, 1990 in a country club in California. 21 matches at the show were taped for Sports Channel America, with most of the matches ending in either a DQ, a countout, a double disqualification, or a double countout. Man,
how do you disqualify something when it's an obvious work? How is that even possible?
How do you have multiple disqualifications?
What is up with this?
Well,
really?
It should be noted, guys, that this show was reportedly booked by that jabroni Brian Blair, so that explains a lot. The highlight of the taping. Okay, are you ready, guys? Now I mentioned earlier about Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Now, there are some people who are listening to this who might not know who Dave Meltzer is. So Dave Meltzer, for those who don't know, he's considered like one of the premier wrestling journalists. Okay, I believe at this time in 1990 he had a column in a newspaper that I know Mike holds near and dear to his heart, The National.
You darn right I love The National. Absolutely.
Yeah, for those who don't know what The National was, that was the 1990 version of The Athletic.
That might be our initial episode on a Patreon podcast. It was a thing at the newsstand.
Yeah. I mean, they had that was a Frank DeFord joint, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you are right about that. Yes.
Yeah, I believe it was because Dave's talked about how he was the editor of the paper. So, yeah. So the highlight of this taping in Anaheim was Herb had a jobber called Davey the Observer Meltzer against Dr. Death Steve Williams, where Dr. Death beat the absolute crap out of Davey Meltzer. And after the match, Dr. Death wrote a note on a piece of paper and put it in the jobber's mouth. According to the real Dave in his newsletter, Herb wanted to get the smallest, dumpiest guy to call him Davey Meltzer, and the guy who did this was in his first match and was against the idea, but Herb told him to shut up and take the money. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
Well, that's a Herb Abrams answer. Shut up and take the money.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Also, Herb made this ridiculous claim that NBC International was going to syndicate the UWF overseas. Guys, can you imagine Warren Littlefield trying to syndicate this crap overseas?
Oh, God. Are you kidding me? He couldn't even syndicate it in Peoria.
Herb was also criticized in the newsletters for his bad announcing and miscalling various moves. Yeah, probably because he was on too much of the you-know-what.
The La Cocaína,
Yeah.
the dust, as it were.
Nose candy.
That's what I was going to say. So at the start of 1991, Herb moved the operations of his company from California to New York City. At some point in 1991, Herb decided to get off the commentary and hire former WWF announcer Craig DeGeorge as his replacement to be teamed with Bruno Sammartino. Of course, Craig DeGeorge we mentioned in the XFL 2001 episode where his broadcast partner, of course, Mike, was. Do you remember?
I'm going to feel like an idiot. I don't remember.
It was Bob Golick.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Cleveland's own Bob Golick.
Oh, not just Cleveland's own Bob Golick. He grew up in the city where I live.
Yeah.
He's Wycliffe's own Bob Golick. Thank you very much.
And not only that, a future installment, Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Oh, I can't wait till we do that episode. Oh, man. We're going to do that. We're going to do all the Saved by the Bell TV movies. Then we're going to do all 7 seasons of the new class.
Oh, Jesus.
Streaming on Peacock. Can't wait.
I may have to see if I can somehow get an interview with Bob Golick. You never know.
Oh, that would be...
He lives in this area, so it's
he still
possible.
lives in Wycliff? Does he live next door to you?
He lives in the Cleveland area. I don't know if he still lives in Wycliffe. He may very well. I know he did some events last year. There was a barbecue rib cook-off, and he was like a celebrity judge, signed autographs there.
Oh, cool.
So he's still in Cleveland. He has a restaurant downtown. So
nice.
I'll play the Klaus card and see what the hell happens.
Okay. All right. So back to the UWF. Okay. So there was a TV taping in 1991 at the Penta Hotel in New York City, which I should know, guys, is right across the street from Madison Square Garden, usually where the WWF would have their monthly house shows. So, yeah, another Herb trying to be a dick to Vince. So there was a lot of criticism in the newsletter because this show went 3 hours, and at one point, the ring broke during a match with Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Oops.
That's not good.
No, also, that's bad.
No. Oh, but here's the best part, guys. Also at this show, the Honky Tonk Man made an appearance on this show, but he didn't stay in the promotion after this because, shocker, the Honky Tonk Man didn't get paid for his appearance. One fan in a newsletter said that this show at the Penta Hotel was the worst show in wrestling history.
Man, that's bad.
That's harsh.
Yes. And this was also around in February 1991. Checks were bouncing left and right, and Vince was suing Herb to prevent him from using the Honky Tonk Man on his television because the Honky Tonk Man had just left the WWF at this point. And this is around the time where Herb was paying his talent, as we saw in the Dark Side of the Ring episode, in straight-up cash rather than checks.
Yeah, because when you have no money, you need to give money, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And where they get...
Yeah, don't accept checks. Cash only.
In God we trust, all others pay cash.
Thank you, Gene Shepard.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a Gene Shepard line. That's a callback to last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, according to Honky Tonk Man, in a kayfabe commentaries you shoot video with Sean Oliver, Honky Tonk got his money after asking the New York State Athletic Commission for help. The NY Athletic Commission found that Herb rented or used a wrestling license from another gym, and the Athletic Commission held the gym's bond money and paid the Honky Tonk Man. So good on the New York State Athletic Commission.
Thank you, New York State Athletic Commission, maybe?
Also, apparently at one show, when the UWF was recording interviews, somebody in the office stole a VHS tape of all the interviews, and they actually said in an episode, we'd like to go to an interview with like, I don't know, Dr. Death Steve Williams or Wild Thing Steve Ray, but we don't have the footage. They actually said that on the tape of the episode.
Yikes.
Yeah, this is as low rent as you can get. Oh, but I got another great Herb Abrams story for you guys. You ready?
I think.
There was also a hilarious incident involving Herb Abrams on a wrestling hotline, where a woman asked the hosts of the hotline for their opinions on the UWF and the bounce checks when the host discovered that they were talking to Herb Abrams' wife.
Oh, jeez.
And it gets better because the hotline was on the same network as the UWF's own hotline.
Whoops.
And so one day when the hosts were sick, because it was on the same network as the UWF hotline, who just so happened to take over the hotline one day? Herb Abrams.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So at this point, like wrestlers were like complaining about Herb's unprofessional treatment and not getting all the money they needed and such. It was just an absolute crap show at this point. And also later on in 1991, Herb would have TV tapings at Universal Studios Florida, which you can find on YouTube, and they're real weird. They're outdoors, and the ring is right where Nickelodeon Studios is. And in fact, you can even see Nick Studios in some shots. And the stands in these episodes, I swear to God, they look maybe either half full or like a quarter full.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now is this ring? Is it like where the Sharps Aquos Theater is now, or is it like adjacent?
It's kind of like on the grass area by where Nickelodeon Studios was.
Yeah. So like in the middle, it's like in between Nick Studios and the giant globe. Then.
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
That's an idea. But man, yeah, if you can find them on YouTube, those shows are real weird, guys. But here we go. The UWF Beach Brawl 1991 pay-per-view. So the UWF held their first and only pay-per-view, Beach Brawl, in June of 1991 in Palmetto, Florida, at the Manatee Civic Center. Boy, that's what if you want to hold a pay-per-view, where would you want to hold a wrestling pay-per-view? I'd have it in like New York City or Miami or like LA. Nope, Palmetto, Florida.
Huh.
The main event of this show was the final round of a television tournament for the inaugural Sports Channel Television Championship between Steve Williams and Bam Bam Bigelow, where Dr. Death power slammed Bam Bam to win the match and become the inaugural Sports Channel TV champion. Now, if you've seen like one of the pictures they showed on Dark Side of the Ring, they have a picture of Herb holding the belt, and the best part is on the sides of the belt you have UWF. But the best part is when Herb's holding the belt, you have the letters right in front. On the left side, you have the belt, you have F, and on the right side of the belt, you have U. F-U. That was, yes. But guys, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. Are you ready?
Go on.
Shocker. This pay-per-view was a major failure. It was only able to generate a crowd of 500 people at the 4,000-seat Manatee Civic Center with a low buy rate of 0.10. And we have a review of this show from a good friend of ours who reviewed this on 411 Mania, Mr. Adam Neediff.
Friend of the show, Adam Neediff. Hi, Adam.
Yes.
Hi, Adam.
Adam ranked this show 2.5 out of 10, citing underwhelming finishes, nonsensical booking, and just plain disappointing matches. The show drew poorly as Herb overbooked a huge venue, and the tickets for this show, okay, do you want to know the range for how much the tickets were?
Oh, this can't be good if that's how you're starting this.
There's a range?
The range.
Well, you think for
1991.
A semi-star. You think for a semi-star-studded wrestling match, maybe they might start at like $20, $25.
$10.
Okay, well, okay, that's not too bad.
Oh, wait, you want to know how much?
It's affordable.
How much a ringside seat was?
$20.
No, $50.
What?
$50 for a ringside seat. Yes.
Well, technically, wasn't everything a ringside seat when you have 400 people in attendance?
The pay-per-view was sold for $14.95, which was cheap compared to some of the WWF and WCW pay-per-views of the era, which were around $29.95. The attendance was 385 people paid, and it was only available in 1.7 million homes, and no cable systems in Florida or California, along with most of the Southeast, carried the show.
That's crazy.
That's
not good. Yeah, that's not good.
No. In fact, a check of cable sales says it drew around 22,000 buys. So let's do some math here. 22,000 buys.
22,000.
At $14.95 a pop. That's the equivalent of $328,900 in 1991 money.
That's 300, almost, 330,000. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, not good in pay-per-view land.
No.
In fact, it was so bad, the buys for this pay-per-view, that several cable companies supposedly canceled airing the show days before the event with no reason given, but it was presumed it was because of a lack of response from consumers.
Wow.
You don't say.
Yeah. And according to reports, several bill collectors went after Herb following the show. Gee, I only wonder why they went after him, because he left town without paying the building for the show.
Oh, no.
No. Not good.
Herb, no.
Yeah.
No, Herb, that's a bad Herb.
Yeah. But there's also this one great time on the UWF show where allegedly, Herb Abrams was owed money by Wild Thing Steve Ray and wrongly suspected that Ray was sleeping with his wife.
Oh boy.
So allegedly on May 10th, 1991 at a TV taping in New York City, Abrams paid $100 to break Ray's nose during the match.
Oh boy.
But according to Steve Ray, the $100 thing never happened. But here's the funny part. When you watch the footage of this match, Herb Abrams gets into the ring and he whispers for Steve Ray to take a shot at him.
Because of course he was, yeah.
Yeah, because Herb Abrams, he wants to get involved in everything. And so Steve Ray tries to hit Herb Abrams to make the people in the newsletter world be like, "Oh, this is a shoot, brother."
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the one thing I want to mention about Herb Abrams is he was like ahead of his time. He was like the wrestling promoter who would get involved with other people's crap. And this was like years before like Vince did it in WWF with Steve Austin, like in the late 90s. So he was like a pioneer at this point.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah. Only time you'll ever hear Herb Abrams and Pioneer. Oh, and Herb at one point was so pathetic at trying to beat Vince that allegedly at one point, because Herb Abrams is crazy, he actually called Vince asking that he wanted to buy the WWF.
Bold.
Oh, yeah. Very bold. Yeah. So sometime around 1991 to 92, after the UWF was taken off Sports Channel America, a mix of new and old UWF programs aired on Prime Ticket. Now, this would be like it was kind of sort of around, but not really on TV that much. But here's the part where it gets even more insane. So it was at this point where in September 1994, when Herb was inspired by Vince with WrestleMania 9, where it was at Caesar's Palace, Herb in his infinite wisdom thought, I can do that too. So he booked the MGM Grand Arena for a 3-hour special on Sports Channel called the Blackjack Brawl. And guys, you're not going to believe this, but here in New York, the first part of the show was preempted.
In New York?
In New York.
In New York.
In New York, do you want to know what it was preempted for?
What was it
yes.
preempted for?
The first part of the show was preempted due to an overrun of a preseason NHL game between the Islanders and the Devils.
Oh, darn. I was hoping it would be an episode of Twin Peaks.
Or Star Trek.
Oh, come on.
Have we told you guys everything goes back to Star Trek Next Generation, Twin Peaks, Night Court, Married with Children, Making It, and what's the other one?
I don't know. But I swear
Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour.
Oh yeah, that's right. Duh. But you know
Yeah.
what? Give me a couple of weeks. We could add Doctor Who to the list.
Sure.
Oh, I bet you we might add something in the next episode. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. Once again, like at the beach roll, her again books a venue way too large. And the best part is, in a match between Superfly Jimmy Snuka and Cactus Jack, you could see them brawling out in front of the crowd with tons and tons of empty seats.
That's just an insult. I mean, I could make a joke about empty seats right here, but I'm no fool.
No. The show's main event featured Dr. Death Steve Williams defeating Sid Vicious by... Okay, guys, do you know what he won the match by? Do you want to take a guess?
Disqualification.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, he did. And by the way, when you watch the show, it is clear that you can see that Herb Abrams is just like coked out of his goddamn skull. And the best part is when you watch the Chiron on Herb, it's Mr. Electricity.
Mr. Electricity, and he looks like he's cooked up on speedballs.
Oh, yeah. You want to hear a funny story according to Mick Foley's book about why Herb Abrams was called Mr. Electricity?
Why?
Because according to his wife, he really turns me on. Yes.
I'll just say this. I just wish that this was a video podcast so you could just see my reaction to all of that.
Oh, we have a video of your reaction.
Oh, we're recording. We can get a video grab somehow. It might be like the size of a postage stamp, but we can get a video grab of your
We'll post
reaction.
it on Twitter. This was Chico's reaction to Mr.
You're damn right we are.
Oh, God!
But one of the best parts about the Blackjack Brawl is the ring announcer, Steve Rossi, who was once involved in a comedy team back in the day, I found out doing research, with Marty Allen.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why he was doing the ring announcing for this show. I guess they must have, I guess they needed somebody to ring announce this show. But the best part, I mean, one of my favorite parts, and we're going to edit it in here, is this match between Cowboy Bob Orton and the former Ludwig Borger from the WWF, who is going by the name Thor. And this is how Steve Rossi talks about Thor on his way out of the ring.
Hasn't finished yet. He's Thor, ladies and gentlemen. Thor! Thor! Everybody shout that. Thor!
It doesn't work. If you tell the audience what to do, it just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's a natural thing.
Oh, no. But, he has several great gems throughout the show. The full show is up on YouTube, folks. You have to listen to his announcing. It is so great. But, that's not even the best part about this show. Okay? The best part is, in a match, wrestler Mondo Guerrero comes out to the ring. And guess what his ring entrance music was, guys?
I don't know.
Okay, you ready? Taco Grande by Weird Al Yankovic.
Coming down the aisle from Mexico City, Mexico, Mundo Guerrero. Mundo Guerrero at a height of 5'9", 205 pounds of dynamite. Let me hear from Mundo Guerrero, ladies and gentlemen. Mundo.
chili carrero. Yo tengo el dinero por un steak caro. Las flautas y tamales siempre muy bueno. Y el chili.
Why they play Taco Grande? I don't know. Maybe
They didn't have the rights to Rico Suave.
That's probably why. They probably like get a sound alike. And they probably like, okay, Taco Grande, that works. Unsurprisingly, critics called Blackjack Brawl the worst wrestling show of 1994. But here's the best part, guys. It gets better.
Oh, God, it gets better.
It gets better.
Oh,
Because
God.
this didn't make the show. But at one point, Herb Abrams gets over the PA. And he says, let's hear it for the Jews.
No.
Yup. Let's hear it for the Jews.
Oh, my. No, just no. You need to shut up, Herb. You are making less sense than usual, which isn't a lot of sense to begin with, mind you.
Yeah. And guys, sadly, this was the last UWF show. Now, supposedly, it's been recently uncovered that Herb Abrams is supposedly planning another UWF show for Sports Channel in early 1996. But sadly, this never happened. Could you imagine how much more of a train wreck we could have gotten?
I don't know.
But that wouldn't be the end for the UWF because it would have a long life in reruns. Because sometimes in the mid-1990s, reruns of the UWF would air on ESPN2. And then starting in 2008 to the mid-2010s, as I mentioned at the start, they aired on ESPN Classic.
Because you need content.
Yeah.
Content!
Yeah, the ESPN Classic had a lot of... they aired a lot of good old wrestling stuff. They had like the old AWA episodes from like the late 80s. Oh, and wait a minute. Do we have the Global Wrestling Federation on the list?
I don't think so, no.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I don't think so.
The Global Wrestling Federation is going to be a future entry because God knows I want to talk about the time they had a bungee cord match in the Global Wrestling Federation. Oh, yeah, that happened. They had a bungee cord match in the Global Wrestling Federation.
But yeah, ESPN Classic, about 10 years ago, maybe even a little bit longer, they had like wrestling overload.
Oh, yeah. As I mentioned, AWA, Global Wrestling Federation, any wrestling that they aired like on ESPN back in the day, they have like a copy of.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm not even getting to that one episode of Cheap Seats where they had like Mid-South Wrestling on.
Oh, boy.
That was with the Iron Sheik, no less.
Mid-South Wrestling live from Thornton Arena. Is that the same one we're talking about?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Of course, Mid-South Wrestling, of course, would later become the original version of the UWF, as I already told you. So, okay. Now we get to the best part, guys, about Herb Abrams. This is what you probably all were waiting for. How he died.
Oh, no.
Sadly, guys, on July 23rd, 1996, Herb Abrams died of a heart attack while in police custody. And before his death, police had found Abrams in his Manhattan office, naked, covered in baby oil and cocaine, destroying furniture with a baseball bat.
I shouldn't be laughing at this. I really should not be laughing at this.
Yeah, and there's this great story Mick Foley told about when he told his wife about how Herb Abrams died. He read it in the paper, and he was just laughing at how he died because it was like, yeah, that's definitely the way he was going to go out.
Yeah, that's Herb. Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Just die of a heart attack covered in baby oil and cocaine. Yeah. Naked. Yeah, that is. Yeah. And supposedly Abrams' ex-girlfriend said that during the last few years of his life, he allegedly had experienced paranoia while high on cocaine, allegedly owed various people money, and insisted on destroying furniture to find non-existent bugging devices he believed were secretly recording him.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Drug-induced paranoia.
Yep. And
That
for
doesn't
more,
sound familiar at all.
yeah. And for more, you can, of course, watch Dark Side of the Ring from Viceland on Herb Abrams, which, by the way, guys, we did a live show on, as we mentioned last month. So you can listen to us while you watch the episode.
And gosh knows Viceland repeats Dark Side of the Ring often enough where it shouldn't take terribly long for them to come around to the Herb Abrams episode.
Yeah.
And even if they don't repeat it, I'm sure it's available on demand.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
I would put money on that. Absolutely.
It's on YouTube, so you guys can find it. So Herb Abrams is buried, actually, maybe a good half hour by my house at New Montefiore Cemetery in West Babylon, New York. And guys, hopefully one day I'll go over to that cemetery and I'll pay my respects to Herb Abrams, and I'll leave a bottle of baby oil by his coffin.
Oh!
Oh, no. Greg!
Come on! I bet he would have gotten a kick out of that. He would have gotten a kick out of that.
I'm not worried about him getting a kick out of it. I'm wondering how visitors would feel about it.
They wouldn't know.
You're sure you're not secretly getting a kick out of this, Greg?
Okay, Greg, knowing you'd go there with a bottle of baby oil, and it would have a sticker on it saying, as heard on It Was a Thing on TV.com. Yeah, Greg, you'd do that.
I would. You're damn right I would. I'd pour one out for old Herbie. Because, dear Lord, this man is a legend, and everyone needs to know about the legend of Herb Abrams.
Yep. He couldn't promote or host worth a dang, but he sure could make a thing on TV.
He was, dare I say it, the P.T. Barnum of his day in wrestling?
Something like that.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, I thought you might accept that. It's maybe not the best comparison, but it's definitely not a wrong comparison.
It's a comparison.
No,
It's a comparison.
It's a comparison. You got that right.
Yeah. But guys, you can listen to every episode of this show, all of our past shows on itwasathingontv.com. And of course, we're on the socials. We're on Instagram. We're on the Tumblr. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Jack Dorsey's Hate Box. We're on the Discord. So yeah, we're on the Place to Be Nation Pop. We're everywhere.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
But what's coming up later this week?
Oh my God, we had to call an audible because.
Well, yeah, we had to call an audible because the topic that we originally had planned, just with the current state of affairs in our society, we thought, no, we're not going to do that for the this week.
For 2020, we have had enough problems this year. Well, maybe by 2021, we'll all be hopefully okay.
Yeah, gosh knows, just like in the last 3 months, I think we've altered our schedule maybe half a dozen times because of the happenings in the world.
Yeah, by the way, guys, Herb Abrams UWF was not the original topic for this week, just so you know. Like 3 months ago.
Yeah, but I don't think that was changed necessarily due to the goings-on in the world.
No. That was due because it was supposed to be tie into a movie that had to be postponed due to COVID-19.
Oh, yes, that one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll save that for next year. So
yeah, when it's properly released, hopefully next year.
Yeah.
But we'll give you a little spoilers to the next episode's topic. And remind me if this sounds familiar.
I see what you did there.
You get it.
Yeah.
I know you two get it, but will our listeners get it? Well,
they'll get it on Thursday. That's when they'll get it.
Oh, yeah, they'll get it on Thursday, absolutely.
Everybody will get it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's going to, phrasing.
Yeah. By the way, guys, fun fact, this is the first episode that we're recording on Zoom. We decided to do this as an experiment to see how it would work.
As you can see, it worked terribly.
Well, give us feedback. Let us know how this compares to how we normally record the other episodes. If it's clear, if there's little breaks in the audio, I mean, let us know. Let us have feedback about how this went, because if this is better than what we've been doing, we'll continue doing this. If not, we'll go back to the old way.
Yeah, contact it. It was a thing on TV.com.
Also, another way that you can get our podcast, and I just found this out by experimenting the other day, is if you own an Amazon Echo, you can say, and watch, it's going to play in the background, Alexa, play the podcast It Was a Thing.
Getting It Was a Thing on TV, an anthology on forgotten television from Apple Podcasts. Resuming episode 68, the game show finales of June 20th, 1980, and the David Letterman Show.
Okay.
Alexa, shut up. As always, thank you for listening, and Thursday will be a new episode of It Was a Thing on TV on your favorite podcasting service.
Row!
Any opinions on Herb Abrams?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, did she say that?
Damn it, Craig! Why are you bringing Keesla into this?
I want her to know about Herb Abrams. Everyone should know about Herb Abrams.
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
Okay, let me just explain in the Cliff's Notes version. He was a wrestling promoter. He was a horrible wrestler.
I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to cloud my brain with irrelevant data. I'm handing your headphones back.
Oh, no, you want to hear this.
Oh, no.
He died. He died in baby oil and cocaine.
I love you, Keesla.